Herald Sun has two stories I want to touch on tonight, Caleb. First is the Splash Victory March Anzac Day Parade, capped at 5,500 people, to go ahead with scaled-down dawn service. Melbourne's Anzac Day Parade will proceed with 5,500 marches, but Victorians have been told to mark the day locally or at home to avoid big crowds. The parade route will be shortened, with veterans to march 1.5 metres apart in groups according to their age and coronavirus risk. Crowds will need to scan in using QR codes posted on the route. COVID-safe marshals will also be deployed. Common sense, a victory for common sense, Caleb.
You took the words straight out of my mouth there, Glee, so I was going to say exactly that. It is a victory for common sense. Because, of course, there was talk that in Victoria they would not have an Anzac Day march. Meanwhile, they've had protests and all sorts of things, and there doesn't seem to be too much concern about that. But you have an Anzac Day march, one of the most important public holidays on our calendar, certainly in terms of its symbolism and its importance to the history of our nation and the success of our nation. And we weren't going to get the opportunity to honour those who served our country. And to be honest, if that were allowed to go ahead, where you could have protests but you could not have an Anzac Day march, that would be a serious black mark on not only democracy in this country, but just the way things have gone thanks to coronavirus. So this is a common sense move. There were always going to be certain restrictions on it, and that's fine. I mean, the restrictions are probably a lot more stringent than you've had for any of the other protests that have gone on, but you're also dealing with a much older crowd of people, which makes them more susceptible to coronavirus, even though it basically doesn't exist in the country right now. But look, we've got to take the precautions we have to take. At least there is going to be a march. It's much better than not having a march at all, even if it means there have to be ridiculous restrictions around it.